we've got time for a few questions. Take it away.
Well, we talked about the model. What might be some of the key pillars of the model that you're going to strive for?
Well, first and foremost, we're going to focus on the student-athlete experience. And student-athletes, we want them to emphasize being students first and athletes second. And as a part of that, we want them embraced and integrated into campus life. We want them to be fully invested in what they're doing academically, but then there's a place where athletics plays an important role in what they're doing. And so we'll center everything around our student-athletes so that they will be a big pillar of our focal point. Second of all is we're going to rally around our coaches and find out what instruments, tools, resources that they need to be successful in the MIAA. The transition from the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference to the MIAA has posed some challenges, but it's got some significantly different and unique opportunities for growth, for expansion, for a better day here at UNK. And so our coaches will be major tenets of building our vision and building our approach as we look to service our student athletes. And I think another key component is the infrastructure of the community, the campus community. We want our faculty and staff and deans to know that we're doing it the right way, that we're giving our student athletes great experiences, but there's an appropriate balance between what athletics has and what academics provides to these students on our campus. And then lastly is we want to be an economic engine to the community. We want to provide the community with opportunities for conference, regional, and national competition. We want to put a great product on our sport teams so that people will come to this town, and then we want to collaborate with the community to look at our facilities and build our infrastructure and to share with one another the resources that we have so that the Kearney community can become better than it currently is. And so those are kind of the circle effect that we'll take as we build this approach.
At what point were you sold on this place?
Probably the moment that I drove around in a golf cart with Dusty. Your best salesman right there, the director of admissions. We had a great time talking about the campus. We made an instant connection. We had an opportunity to share about some of the strengths and some of the weaknesses of the campus, but it showed me that he was genuinely interested in that he cared, and that this is an outstanding place with tremendous opportunity for growth.
Paul, administrator versus fundraiser. How do you balance those two?
Well, it's often been said for coaches that recruiting is the lifeblood of college success. Well, as an administrator, fundraising is really the lifeblood of success. If the administration isn't able to acquire the resources needed, then there's going to be limited success. And unfortunately, we live in a time where the arms race is prevalent and people are chasing after resources, and in the MIAA, the resources are pretty abundant right now. So UNK is going to have to analyze where we stand internally, but also, compared to our counterparts in the MIAA. But we'll need to look strong and hard at where we're at. I think the big thing with this is that once we're able to analyze our current state, then we're going to collaborate with the UNK Foundation and the partners that we have across campus to make this a unified approach, to collaborate with deans and departments to make this a great student-athlete experience. And that's where teamwork does its work. That's where a collective group is able to be successful. And so it's going to be all of us combined together making it work.
Did you have to do a lot of that where you were at?
Fundraising is pretty prevalent in all of Division 1, 2, and 3 athletics. So yes, we did. Fundraising was a key component. Matter of fact, my first couple days on the job, we're going around town and meeting with the key constituents to the athletic department, and more than anything, creating friends, developing a partnership that can be lifelong and one that can help not only the athletic department, but the campus as a whole. And so it's really about creating friends and establishing that partnership so that there can be a support system in place to help the athletic department where needed.
What would be one or two things perhaps that John did that left this, that you're going to be able to use the best to build off of, to go from here?
Well, a couple things. One is John has created an environment of people who care for one another. And there's a great camaraderie of people here that have shown that through their history on campus. We've got coaches that have long tenures. And that to me shows that these coaches are valued, that they're appreciated, that they like being here, and that they like working for the person that's in charge. And so that was something that struck right away with me, with him. Second of all, is I think that if you look at the transition from the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference to the Mid-American Athletic Association, I think you'll find that he and the campus did this because they knew that there was something better for UNK athletics. And he positioned the athletic department to make that step. And he saw a brighter day and knew that the competition was going to be stiff and that the resources were going to create some challenges, but he wanted to raise the level of expectation in the athletic department. And I think that there are a lot of things he still wants to finish here and wants to see closed out as he started them 11 years ago. And I consider it an honor to be able to stand by his side and help him as we work with Chancellor Christensen to make those things happen.
Paul, excuse me for 1 second. That's a question I'd like to also address. Is that when John McBride came, he provided a vision and a light, and he raised the expectations of the campus and took us from a state college attitude to a university attitude. Brought national championships here, national events. He brought a cohesive staff, a staff that works together very well. And above all, I think John focused on what is the experience of those young men and women on the field and the court, and what are they experiencing while they're here on campus. And that elevation has brought us to this point. And we're just very, very grateful for that. But it's the vision, it's the expectation of the community, and I think Paul's the perfect person to take that level and now extend it up, because it was John that started that climb and that vision of where we want to get.
Doug, in speaking with a variety of members of the coaching staff and faculty here, I got the impression that Paul was here and then there was a huge gap. How much did you take into account what the coaches told you, what the faculty told you about Mr. Plinske?
I don't think the gap was that high. I think we had an excellent group of people. I think there were some really good candidates. They all had different experiences. Paul received overwhelming support from everyone who gave me input. And, you know, the input to me wasn't to rank candidates. The input was, tell me strengths and weaknesses. I didn't get any weaknesses in the evaluations of Paul, and I got very few weaknesses, quite frankly, the other candidates, but his strengths were off the chart. And that was the difference maker. To me, I think we're very lucky to have this partnership and relationship. This was not a slam dunk search. And there were a variety of other candidates who didn't even get to the final four, who were high quality people. And I've had a chance to go back and look at that list. That's a tough job for the search committee to sort through that. And that's the reason I'm so appreciative of Scott and his committee, is that there were not easy things to do there. There were some tough decisions. There were some high quality people. And today's all about the future. And the search is now in the past, and I look forward to tomorrow.
Now, do we have a total number of applications for the job?
You know, I don't remember the number off the top of my head, Dave. Scott, do you know? Honestly, the total number wasn't important to me. What was important was the process of filtering and getting to a decision. Any other questions? I think Paul, Elizabeth will be available for some one-on-ones if we'd like to do that as we end. Who's missing today? Our student athletes, and the student athletes are getting ready to move back to campus. I saw my first car yesterday with a couch falling out the back. Father's hands glued to the wheel with obviously a stern look. A mother who's been crying, and a daughter who was following in a car that was so packed you couldn't see in or out of it. That tells me school's starting. We've got a great fall lineup of athletic events for campus. Last night we had a wonderful event talking about the future, the academic future of this campus and the health science education complex. There are so many things that are going on here. And this announcement this morning is just one more sign of that momentum. I want to thank you all for being here. Elizabeth, welcome to UNK. Paul, pleasure to have you here.